Many international professionals have experienced the frustration of finding a remote job description that perfectly matches their skills and background. You read the requirements, note the remote designation, and realize you possess the exact certifications and industry experience the employer is requesting. You submit your tailored resume. Yet, weeks pass without a response. When this happens, it is natural to assume your resume was evaluated and rejected in favor of a stronger candidate. This stems from a common misconception about global hiring. The widespread belief is that remote employers cast a wide net to find the best talent worldwide, evaluating all incoming applications on an equal playing field. In practice, the process is often narrower than that. Instead of evaluating everyone who might apply, companies make upstream structural decisions about where they will look. Understanding how these decisions function is essential. The core question is why recruiters might miss your profile even when your skills match the job description. The answer often lies in the difference between proactive sourcing and inbound applications. When a company posts a public job listing, it receives inbound applications from professionals who find the role through that route. Separately, the company may conduct proactive sourcing by searching selected channels for potential candidates. These are different ways of building a candidate pool, and they can operate at the same time. In this context, sourcing means the employer's deliberate choice of where and through which channels to search. When a remote position opens, the employer designs a sourcing approach by selecting specific channels, networks, and platforms. This is a structural choice about how to build an active candidate pool, rather than a strategy to maximize applicant volume. Employers utilize several common sourcing channels. One channel is the use of internal recruiters, who search corporate databases and leverage internal employee networks. Their reach is often constrained by the company's existing geographic scope. Another common channel involves external recruiters and specialized agencies. The geographic reach of these partners is shaped by their local market presence and specific client mandates. Employers also use job platforms, configuring their search to focus on professionals in selected countries. Finally, employee referrals serve as a major sourcing channel, heavily dependent on where current employees are located. These choices reflect practical constraints. Employers balance access to talent with recruiter capacity, the scope of the role, and the hiring processes they already have in place. The geographic reach of a sourcing channel may also reflect where the employer is prepared to hire and which markets the recruiter or partner has been asked to cover. As a result, an employer may concentrate its proactive search on particular regions or professional networks. This does not determine every possible applicant, but it shapes the group of professionals the employer actively searches for and contacts. This means candidate visibility is shaped by the chosen sourcing channels. Candidate visibility refers to whether a professional is present in the specific channels where the employer is directing attention. If an employer focuses their proactive search on selected channels, the candidates within those channels become the active candidate pool. Qualified professionals outside the selected channels are not automatically rejected or hidden by software. They might still apply through an inbound route. However, they are simply not part of that particular proactive search effort. Their visibility depends on how the employer prioritizes the active candidate pool generated through their selected channels. Consider a hypothetical employer decision. A technology company opens a new remote engineering role. The human resources team needs to manage recruiter capacity while working within their existing hiring process. To control volume and target regions where they have payroll capabilities, the company makes a structural sourcing choice. For this proactive search, they choose two channels. First, they activate their internal employee referral network. Second, they engage an established recruiting partner and ask it to search within selected European markets. Together, these channels create the initial proactive candidate pool. Meanwhile, a highly qualified candidate located in South America is looking for remote engineering roles. This candidate possesses the exact technical skills required. However, because they are not connected to the internal referral network and are not engaged with that specific European partner, they do not become part of the active candidate pool generated by this proactive search. The candidate is not universally invisible to the employer, nor were they actively filtered out by software. They are simply outside the specific channels the employer chose to utilize. The hiring team focuses their resources on evaluating professionals surfaced through the chosen referral network and the recruiting partner. This produces a clear sequence. First, hiring boundaries influence where an employer is prepared and equipped to hire. Second, sourcing choices determine where the employer looks. Third, selected channels shape the proactive candidate pool. From there, the employer reviews the profiles or resumes that enter that sourcing workflow. Inbound applications may move through a separate review process. Within proactive sourcing, profile and resume evaluation takes place among candidates surfaced through the selected channels. The sourcing choice does not decide who is qualified. It determines which professionals enter that particular search. A public application route, when one exists, can create a different pool with its own review process. When a qualified professional is not contacted, this does not necessarily reflect a failure of their skills. One possible explanation is that they were outside the channels used for that particular search. Understanding these upstream choices provides a clearer way to interpret how structural decisions can precede individual evaluation. To see how companies structure their geographic sourcing and filtering rules, consult the Remote Hiring Systems map linked below. This structured reference consolidates these concepts into a single system view, covering hiring geography, sourcing visibility, and resume interpretation.